Hey guys, can you guys hear me okay? Please say something in the chat so I can know whether the volume is good or not. I can adjust after I start a game to see if I need to change anything, but hopefully everything is good. Let me know if not. So anyway, tonight we're going to be doing another one in our series of a look at Atari computers. The last time we did the Atari 8-bit. Cool. Thank you. Right on. Thank you so much. So basically we're going to be looking at the Atari ST computers today. At least the games that, the games that I had, the games that were great, etc. As per usual, I didn't get a chance to prepare everything perfectly, but I did get a chance to go through and kind of pick some of the best ones and test them out a little bit. So just a little bit of history. So I, of course, started with the Atari 2600, which we've already gone through, then moved to the Atari 8-bit, and then to the Atari ST. It was kind of the general thing from going from 2600, which was 8-bit, but barely, and the 8-bit computers, and then to the ST, which was a 16-bit computer. The actual ST stood for 16/32. And the idea was that it was a 16-bit microprocessor. It was a Motorola 68030. And basically the idea was, I think there was some stuff you could do with 32-bit, but effectively it was a 16-bit machine. They did have, a TT, which was supposed to be a 32, which was, but the thing was that, the games really didn't work on it, and it was good for certain things like, if you were doing desktop publishing and things like that. But not so much for games. The ST was really kind of a games machine that you could do other things with. So interestingly enough, one of the things that, I was seeing as I was going through these games here is that, I didn't have as many games as I did on like the 8-bit computers. And I think the deal is that I started using the computer for more than just games. I started doing programming more. I did do some desktop publishing stuff. So looking at the games, it was like, kind of like, okay, yeah, we definitely had some games, but, kind of looking through, it's like, I know I missed quite a few of the quote unquote good games, but, definitely have some in here I want to show. Another thing that's kind of interesting is because the system had a lot of capabilities, and there was a lot of demos that were out for the ST. And I don't know if it was because, there was the Amiga computers, which were also its contemporary at the time. And I'll go into the Amiga stuff a little bit. But the idea was that there was a lot of demos that came out. And it was trying to kind of show the capabilities of the machine. And basically, so some of these demos are way more, I guess, more technically advanced than some of the games, actually. So I'm going to go through some of the games and actually some of the demos as well. Unfortunately, I don't have all of the screenshots here. And why is oh, there we go. Okay. Let's see. Let's find a couple of things. So the first one I want to start off with, and we'll get into the major ones, but one of the other things that I definitely noticed when going through some of these is a lot of the games that I actually played that I really liked were actually, so here's the desktop that we were greeted with a lot. Unfortunately, I really don't like having to deal with this desktop, but whatever. One of the things that I noticed is that, or I remembered, is that a lot of games that I used to play and a lot of things I used to do on the computer were actually public domain. And so we actually, when I had this computer, it was when I was off to college, and I remember I had learned what FTP was, and FTP, file transfer protocol. Unix people know all about it, but basically, I found a certain archive out there called WU Archive, which is WashU, I believe. And I believe it was like WArchive.w, and it was WSTL. So it was at St. Louis, which Ray, feel free to tell me about. I know Matt knows all about it. I think that's where he went. WSTL.edu. And I knew that location by heart because I went into that archive all the time to download, games and demos. And so they had an amazing collection of public domain stuff. And this was actually one that I found there. So by the way, can you guys hear the music in the game right now? I want to make sure to hit get the right volume before I start playing the game. Seems a little quiet in my headset, but I want to make sure before I play. But anyway, so this was one of the ones that I downloaded. It was public domain. So the interesting thing about this is this was actually one. It's quiet, but yes, music is barely audible. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's do this. Do this. Get rid of this. And I had to switch windows in order to make this happen. Okay. Hopefully, is this any better? How's the music now? I turned it up a bit. So one of the things that was interesting is that they actually had a couple different. Okay, cool. Thank you. So I'm gonna play this, and certain people that are in the chat, same level, still quiet. Okay. All right, I'll fix it afterwards, I guess. So this game might look familiar to some people, and this is actually the game that inspired me to kind of actually make my own version of this game. And it's called Blatt, which you can probably tell by the title there. So the idea is it's a falling blocks game. A lot of people will say, "Oh, it's like Tetris." It's like, not quite. Basically, I really like this game, and I wanted to make my own on modern machines, which I ended up doing with the help of a friend, Ray. We made our own version of it called Rotobricks. Now, it has some other things in it that we didn't implement. The fact that there's like little extra things that you can interact with. So like these bombs, I believe if you get fire next to it, it'll blow up or something like that. Yes, like this. So kind of cool. One of the things that was interesting about this game is the fact that it required the Atari STE. So they came out with the STE, which was the enhanced model. So this was later on in the life cycle for the system. And that was actually the computer that I had, was a 1040 STE. And I'm doing badly at this game. The STE, had mostly it was the similar stuff that the ST had, but it had a couple of new features. One is it had the ability to, it had a special chip in it called the Blitter chip. And it was able to when games use the blitter chip, it was basically able to blit to the screen faster. There was very few things that actually used it. So basically, to be honest, there was hardly anything that actually used the capabilities. There were mostly, to be honest, it was demos. Demos used it. But that was pretty much it. Certain games like this, but for some reason, I don't know why this required the STE, but it did. And it was like, oh, cool. Something I could use that would require the STE. And I was like, I was pretty underwhelmed. Although the game is really cool. It's not, I don't think that there's anything in here that actually really needs it. But in any case, this was a game that I really loved back when I used to play games like this. I don't play mostly fast-paced arcade games these days. I'm just old. But the idea is that you get higher and higher levels, and that does have more different symbols and stuff, as opposed to there's circles, there's squares, and I can't remember all of them. But each level you get higher and higher. It gets faster and faster, and there is a bomb, so if you hit that, it'll blow up a level. Space bar will blow it up. So you get it down in there, and it'll blow further down, which is kind of cool, especially if you're getting overwhelmed and you want to be able to destroy stuff. I remember the clocks. I think if you get those together, it will stop time or slow down time. I am doing horribly at this game.
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
I love that. So one of the things that's interesting is, you'll hear in a lot of the public domain stuff, you'll actually hear you'll actually hear things that are samples from movies and stuff that they wouldn't be able to put that in a real game. Let's see, why is it doesn't like saving to it? Maybe it's trying to save to the disk or something and it can't. So that is Blat. Not a popular game by any means, but it was one that I enjoyed. Okay, so before I move on, you said it was still quiet, so let me crank it up a little bit more. Let's see. This is the desktop audio. Let's see how this sounds. Okay. All right. So let's go to, so here was a demo that was pretty cool back in the day. I remember when we got this demo, I was kind of blown away, just with the fact that you didn't usually see this kind of stuff back then on the ST or any other computer. You are free of viruses. So one of the things they had a lot of times, so they had boot sector viruses, which was kind of a weird thing. It wasn't, you didn't really have, I mean, some people had hard drives, but for the most part, the system you worked off of disks. And so you could have a thing where the virus would stay resident in memory, and then when you swap disks, it actually could overwrite your boot sector on one of your disks. Nothing like the viruses that we have today. So this is loading. It's just taking a while. One of the things I have on this setup is similar to what I did in the Atari 8-bit. Is I had a thing to where it'll speed it up, which was pretty handy. So we're gonna hear some. Let's see. I have to deal with the stupid thing here, which is annoying. Why it didn't automatically run it, I don't know. Deal. Okay. I'm just speeding it up a little bit to get through the loading. Some of the loading, it takes a while. It's one of those things that I've noticed that I'm a lot more impatient than I used to be. When things would take a while to load, it's like, all right, I'm going to load this and I'm going to go away and come back after a few minutes. Hello, Brandy H. How are you doing this evening? Let's see if it's ran earlier. So it's just huge. Okay. You got to tell me how the volume is. It doesn't look like it's super loud over here. I turned it up, but so this is like, keep in mind, this came out in like early 90s. So it was very much like kind of a, kind of rave culture kind of stuff. So this is definitely, I could definitely see this being played at raves. Game volume is better now. Okay, but it's not too loud then. A little quiet, but I can hear it. Okay, I will increase it even more. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's the emulator is just low volume or something. I'll tweak it after this though. But I remember when so I had this computer along with another friend of mine. Epilepsy warning. Definitely this is definitely could be epilepsy, seizure inducing. This was like, I remember playing this and playing it for my friends and be like, whoa, check this out. And, it's like looking at it, it's like all these images and stuff, and it has cool dancing and stuff, which was, I don't know, as a, 18-year-old kid, this was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So, but it'll keep repeating and stuff. It does Omega Grotesque, which is the name of it. It's like, ooh, 3D graphics, ooh, it's all software rendered and all that, so. Okay, enough seizures. Let's go back to, let's increase some volume again. But anyway, so that was kind of like, one of the cooler demos. One of the things that was neat and, from that time was the fact that you could, so the game, the system had a Yamaha synthesizer chip on it to be able to do what was called FM synthesis, frequency modulation synthesis, which is a very common thing that was in the 80s. So things like the DX7, it was definitely a very similar thing. It had the same chip in it basically. So there was a lot of sounds you'll hear sounded very much like, the DX7. But one of the things that as the 80s kind of came out or kind of went away from the 80s, one of the things that we, wanted to hear was more natural sounds. And so about this time, this was kind of early 90s or early to mid 90s. So actually, if you listen right here, you can hear this is kind of the standard Yamaha synthesis sound. It's very kind of, video gamey for lack of a better word. So this was, for whatever reason, for the intro there, they have this, synthesized sound. But one of the things that they started doing around this time was they started doing sampled sounds. And what they did is they created a thing, there was a program called Noise Tracker, or there were several different tracking software that came out. And basically the idea with this was that you would use sampled sounds, and then you would use a program to basically play these sampled sounds in certain speeds and certain volumes and all that stuff. And so they created this the whole noise tracker thing, which ended up being mods. So in that time he was like, oh, it's a mod, and mods were really cool because they actually sounded like real instruments. It was something that was way cooler sounding than we had heard before coming from a computer. And so they got to a point where they could make music sound awesome. So here's, hopefully the volume is good now to where you can hear the volume of the program. Cool. So the idea with this is that this was a demo that used, mods to be able to play different, songs. So I can actually change it to a new song. So noise tracker mods, it was a really big thing. I think they probably came out on the Amiga first and then brought over to Atari. But when this came out, I was obsessed with this. Like, for me, when mods came out and this whole concept of having samples and tracking them, this really kind of got me into the whole electronic music thing. So I actually started really getting into these. I started collecting as many mods as I could find. I ended up making one of my own. It was just a cool thing because this was way before MP3s were a thing. We didn't have the ability to compress music down to where it would be shareable. And even then, even an MP3 back then, when it did come out, was so big. Mods were, you take the sample sizes and the mod would only be the size of basically the samples. And a lot of times what they did is they made it so that the samples, they would kind of do lower quality samples to make it smaller. So you'll hear some things that use a little less quality and stuff. And some of the sounds you can hear in this are not the best sound, but the idea has real drums. It has real, all these things, and it's sampled sounds, and it sounds so cool, especially back then. Okay, how did this impact you as a musician? I know you like guitars. Well, I will say that it got me interested in certain artists, because a lot of the music that I was into at that point was rock. I wasn't really into electronic music at all. And is it crashing on me? I don't know what it's doing. It looks like it might be crashing on me. Okay, I guess we're done with that for now. So it definitely got me a lot more interested in the whole sample, thing with all the different tracking stuff. I remember taking a synthesis class in college because I was like really obsessed with this stuff. And it's like, oh no, what I was obsessed with was sampling, which definitely became a major thing, of course. But obviously it's a staple now. I mean, but back then it was pretty relatively new, at least to have good quality samples. So let's see here. Back to kind of games here. And these are the favorites that I picked out. There's a lot more, but I just kind of want to pick the stuff that I wanted to test it out and show you guys stuff that either I had or, worked really well, etc. And I also left out some multi-disc things because I haven't figured out how to set that up properly so I can swap discs. There was a ton ton of games that had lots of, multiple discs. So that kind of, this is a very small kind of a cross section of the games that are out there. But anyway, the whole mod thing it had a major effect on me. And I got really into like sequencing and a lot of that stuff because of that. I learned how to do the mods, how to create them and all that stuff. And it was a lot of fun. I actually will probably do, I think I could do a video on just like my favorite mods and the best ones of the time. And when I play some of the amazing ones, it's like you don't know that it's a mod. It's really cool. And these are a lot of them were original songs that people created in this. Okay. So here is a game called Stunt Car Racer. It is a pretty neato game. It is a racing game. I'm just going to go ahead and start the racing season because I've already practiced a little bit earlier while testing this out. So the idea behind this game is that it's a racing game and you're racing for time, but you're on an elevated track. And the idea is that you are trying to get the best time and also not break your car. Oh, that's right. You actually are racing against a guy on the same track, which is kind of crazy. So one of the things you'll notice is that there's a little crack in the top of the screen, and when that gets all the way across, your car is broken and you lose. So the idea is that you have to, basically try to make it so that you don't hit too hard. One of the things that was also neat about this game was that that it allowed multiplayer with a special cable called a null modem cable. And I remember me and my buddy Chris, he also had an Atari ST. And we actually set it up one time, and we actually were playing this game against each other. And at that time, that was a really novel concept. Nowadays it's pretty common, but back then, definitely a cool concept. I was like, oh my gosh, you can play together in the same game. Oh, that's cool. On separate computers. Oh, I just thought of a game I need to definitely add to the list here. Anyway, definitely a fun game, and I'm making it kind of look easy because I was actually practicing a little bit before this. I'm probably gonna, after saying that, I'm gonna wreck, but it's a special knack to it, but definitely a lot of fun. Crunch. The whole concept of your car braking after too much pounding on it is kind of an interesting one. Oh no! Come on. And then it takes a minute to drop me. Come on. Race 1. Wow, okay. Cool. That was a close one. Okay. Yay. I won the race. In any case, fun game. It's definitely one of those things that I remember playing a lot of. It's one of those things that's like definitely cool today. Okay. Where's another one? I played that. Okay. This is another game that is not popular, but is a fun game. So, As I had mentioned, when I went off to college a million years ago, this was about 92 timeframe. I had just got, my ST was, a couple of years old at that point, but I took it off to college with me and I used it, while I was there and all that. And you could do everything with it that I needed to. And I programmed on it. I did everything I could, or I did everything I needed. So one of the things is I was the only one around me that had an ST. A lot of other people had PCs, and there was a couple of gamer guys that had PCs, and at that point we had games like Wolfenstein 3D was the hot game that came out right then, because it was full 3D graphics and it was just like amazing, right? Well, the cool thing is that there was people that had those computers and those games, but they didn't have the stuff I had, which was kind of interesting. So I would pull out these games that nobody else had, and we would have parties in my dorm room. So this was one of the games that we played. It's called Chaos. There was two versions that existed. One that was for machines that had more memory, and one that had less. For some reason, the 1 meg version I couldn't get to work right today, and I don't know why. I had done it worked fine before, so whatever. It's the half meg version. It works. It just doesn't have as much sounds. So the idea behind this game was that it had samples in the game, which was really cool because, when you have a sample from a movie or something and it plays, especially back then, that was a big deal. It was a big deal having these sounds, and it was just like, hey, I know what that's from. I know that sample. So you'll get to hear them here. So the idea behind this game is it's called Chaos. And it came out in the originally for the Spectrum, back in, early 80s or whatever. And, by Julian Gollop. And funny enough, there's actually modern incarnations of this game. It doesn't have the cool sound effects. This guy, Martin Brownlow, he wanted to do an updated version for the ST. And so he used sound effects from cool movies and stuff that he really liked. So the idea behind the game is that you play as a wizard in an arena with multiple wizards. So you could play up to 8 people in a game, which was pretty cool, actually. And so the idea is that you choose how many wizards. I'm going to choose 2. And I'm going to make mine, just give it a name. I'm going to say it's not going to be computer controlled because it's going to be controlled by me. And I'm going to pick what the graphic I want to use. So I'm going to use 1. And then for the name of the wizard, the computer controlled wizard, why don't you guys give me a name in the chat so I can make give him a name while I drink my water. Okay, chat. I need a name. Larry. Okay, so we're going to call him Larry. Computer controlled, yes. So you can enter a level. So 1 is dumb, 8 is super smart. So we'll go with like 4, kind of in the middle. We need a graphic for him. So pick a number, not number 1, because that's me. The boss. Now, this would be a fun game now, if we had like a bunch of people around to actually, back in the day when we actually went over to people's houses, this could actually be a fun game now. So we're going to choose 4. All right, so my options. So I can do one of 4 things. I can examine my spells, I can select a spell, and examine the board. So I'm going to examine the board. So this is what we have on the board so far. Just him and me. Him and me. Okay. And then how do I get out of this? Probably uses escape, and I don't want to use escape because let's see. because escape will actually exit the program, and I do not want to do that. So it looks like it uses like letters to move around. It's been a while since I've messed with this. Okay, come on out of this. I don't want to have to hit escape because that will exit the program. That's one of the things that I want to make it easy to exit, but certain things actually used. Oh, there we go. You zeroed it. Okay, cool. So I'm going to say select this, or I can look at my spells. So I have these different spells. So disbelieve is an interesting one. I'll get to that in a minute, but we have all these different creatures we can do. Hydra, mutation, horse, shadowwood, manticore, dark power, centaur, and direwolf. So we can do any one of these, and these are my spells. So basically think of it kind of like, I would guess like Magic the Gathering in a way. So I could create any one of these. Now, the thing that's interesting is that the arrows mean that they're law-based spells, and the stars are more chaos spells. So think of it as good versus evil. So like the Hydra and the direwolf and the manticore and stuff like that are evil things, and the other ones are good. So depending on how the world is going, it will affect how well you can cast these spells. So like if you have something that is and I think the colors actually have to do with this. So like white, I believe, is the easiest to cast. Yellow, I think as it gets darker and darker, it becomes harder to cast. So like the Shadowwood and the Manticore, those are probably harder to cast than say like the Centaur or the Horse. I'm going to try casting the Horse. So I'm going to say select a spell, and I'm going to say G for Horse. Illusion, yes or no. So the interesting thing about this game is if you have some really bad kind of like dragon or something, and you want to make sure that you can cast it, because I said there's certain things that won't allow you to or it'll fail. Okay, depending on the level of chaos or law. Then you can actually basically do it as an illusion, and it will actually last until someone disbelieves it. So that's the whole disbelieve thing. So I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say continue. So I remember, it uses the WASD. So okay, cool. So I'm gonna do my centaur. I think I don't know where I can do it. I'm gonna do it out of range. So I guess I have to do it right in front of me. Oh man, groovy. So groovy, yeah. One of the things that's cool in the 1 meg version is it actually has a whole bunch more sound effects, and so I'm kind of bummed that it doesn't have all the sound effects here. But I'm gonna move my guy out of the way, and I'm gonna move my horse into range of the guy. And then once we're done, I think I hit 0, and he just moved. So now he did a magic knife or whatever, so that he's more buff. Okay, so now we're in the law form. So the idea is that certain things, the chaos ones, are going to get even harder to cast. I'm going to cast another horse, no illusion, and I'm going to say 4. Now, one of the things that was interesting when you're playing with a bunch of people is that you don't want people to see, especially if you hit Y or N on the illusion, you don't want people to see it. So what we would do is we'd be like, all right, okay, so we would have the computer, and we kind of all were hovering around. I had this game, I don't remember how many I had at one point, but I know we had at least 5 people or 6 people playing this game at once, as well as computer players. And so we were hovering around the keyboard. And so it would be like, all right, everybody turn around. So while the person is selecting their spells and they're hitting yes or no or whatever, and it was just funny because everybody's like, okay, no peeking. Everybody like cover their eyes and do that. So I wasn't able to cast my other horse, but that's okay. Things can fail. It's just kind of part of the game. So I'm gonna run my horse over here, and hit 0. Okay, so I'm gonna cast another spell. Let's cast, we're still in law, I think. I'm gonna try casting a centaur. Cool. Okay, so he has like a dwarf dude. Man, I'm upset I don't have the sound effects. So I'm gonna bring the horse in. And he's close to the enemy, so I can actually hit the. So the tis but a scratch, you know. I had never seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail before playing this game, so I was like, all these sound effects are really cool, but I didn't know what they were from. So I'm gonna move the centaur and I can do a ranged combat. I don't think I can hit him out of range. Okay, I can't hit him. Let's see, how do I... No, I don't want to shoot myself. Okay. Okay. I'll get out of it. Sometimes learning the keys can be fun. All right. Don't want to shoot anybody. Nobody. Just don't shoot anybody. Trying random keys now. Don't want to have to hit escape because, again, that will close the program. Okay. Nothing's working. Oh, that's not it. Windows key. Let's try that again. Okay, I don't want to shoot anything. Out of range, yes, I'm aware. Out of range. Okay. Let's try random keys. Okay, there we go. K, apparently. Alright, so I'm going to move my dude out of the way. Okay, cool. Ah, his dwarf killed my my horse. So I'm going to do another one. And now I've got all of my law spells out of the way. Now I'm going to try doing some chaos spells. So I'm going to try doing try the lighter ones. Maybe a dire wolf. Not an illusion. And we'll hit 4. Okay, cool. Disappointed! All right. So now I'm gonna get my centaur in range. I think I can shoot him out of range. Okay. Nope. Okay. All right. So I can't shoot him with the centaur. So one of the things that's kind of cool. I actually at one point when I was trying to do game development, when I was just kind of getting started, I actually took the graphics from this game, and I wonder what Subversion does. I'd have to look it up. I took the graphics from this game, and I was actually going to do another, basically almost a direct port of this game on modern computers. And so I actually got pretty far with it. But the problem was I was doing it in Director, so which is kind of like kind of like Flash. It was a very very similar to like Adobe Flash, and it was actually made by the same company originally. And so I actually took all the graphics and ripped them out, and actually all the sounds. And actually, I got pretty far with it. I ended up kind of losing interest, especially since it's not something I can sell or anything. So, the one. Oh, he was going to raise dead on my horse there. Interesting. Let's see. Out of range. Dang it. Oh well. Oops. Anyway, you get the idea. It's definitely a fun game. Yes, there's actually a lot of them, and you know when you that's to be honest, that's kind of the one of the appeals of the game. And unfortunately, not having all the samples kind of it's cool, but it's not as cool. So I'm gonna exit out and go show you something else here. Okay, my controller went away since it was timed out. Okay. All right. I'll show you guys this. So, one of the things that you'll see come up on a lot of these games is a certain game manufacturer or development studio, I should say. And that is Psygnosis. Okay. Now, there's a reason for this. Psygnosis, and you'll see like probably half of the ones on my list were all Psygnosis. So Psygnosis made the best games on both the Atari ST as well as the Amiga. They did do stuff on PC, but these were the two platforms that they mostly did stuff on. And to be honest, they did mostly on the Amiga, and they did actually do a lot of ports onto the Atari ST as well. So this was no different. This was a one of the cool games, kind of a killer app on pretty much on both the Amiga and the ST. So it's called Lemmings. And you guys have probably seen it before or seen some incarnation of it. Very, very cool design. The idea is that you have these little guys that are, they're called lemmings, even though they look nothing like actual lemmings. But the idea is they only do what you tell them to do. So there's this cool little, intro graphic and stuff here. I'm not sure if I have to hit something or what. There we go. So very cool game. And it's a strategy game. If you haven't seen it before, you're probably in for a treat here. Let's see. So I'm going to do a one player. And so the idea is for each of these levels, the goal is to get the lemmings that fall down, and you're trying to get them in this portal here. And what you have to do is you have to convert them into a certain type of lemming. So this one is a digger. So I turn that guy into a digger. And so he digs that thing out. And I don't need to make any more a digger, just have that particular one. And now they'll all fall and they'll go into their home. Okay, all lemmings accounted for. Superb, you rescued every lemming on that level. Can you do it again? Okay, so level 2, only floaters can survive this. So the idea is they're gonna die unless I turn them into floaters. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And if I don't, they'll just splat, which we don't want them to splat. So it gets progressively harder as the game goes. But it truly is a puzzle game. It's little cute little guys that you're trying to get to home. And so Tailor-made for blockers. So at the beginning, they give you a little bit of hints here and there. So blockers are the things here. I don't remember. That's not what I want. Actually, okay, so bouncing off there. So now, unfortunately, I have to like nuke this guy. Let's see, how do I do that? I can delete. I'm not sure. Oh, that was speed, I think. So the problem is I can't delete this guy. There's a little thing to normally do it, but I can't. I screwed up. So I have to like nuke the level. I always love this. So there's, oh, they'll all blow up. So I hit the nuke button to have them all blow up. Whoops. Rock bottom. I hope for your sake that you nuked that level. Yes, we nuked the level. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay. Oops. Let's try that one more time. One of the things you have to watch out for is the direction in which they walk. So like right here, they'll walk down and then we don't want them to fall in the pit. So this should all be good. So then we'll go home. So anyway, one of the things something that I found in this that I just cracked up. So do you see this button right here? Can you guys tell me what this button does? This one right here. It's probably kind of hard to see what that is, but I'd love to hear what you guys think that button does. It has paw prints on it. You are correct. But no, nothing jumps out. So I'll give you a hint here. So I just clicked it. And I'll click it again. I love it. It's awesome. It's not terrible. It's awesome. That's the pause button. That's like perfect. It's like just awesome. Yes, it is kind of a dad joke in the game, but yeah, I gotta nuke these guys to finish it, but it's the pause button. It has pause on it. I remember that explaining that to somebody. And they're like, what? They didn't get what I was talking about. I'm like, it has pause on it. It has pause. Like, you know, to pause. Anyway, you get the idea. So, you know, this is one that, you know, has tons and tons and tons of levels. And they actually put out like several different ones, like oh no, more lemmings and stuff like that. So it was a very, very, very popular franchise. So yeah, if you want a good puzzle game, Lemmings has been out on like every platform known to man, but it started back in, this time. Okay, so here is another game that was a public domain game. Actually, it was more like a shareware game. Written by a guy by the name of Jeff Minter. And he had a company called Llamasoft. And he has I would kind of have to say an unhealthy affinity towards animals, farm animals, sheep, things like that. So he, this is him. If you look at his Twitter account and all that, he talks a lot about his sheep and all this stuff. So he makes a lot of his games around animals. And so he actually goes by the name of Yak. He makes games involving llamas and sheep and all kinds of stuff. So, I'm going to go ahead and fire this up. It's called Llamatron. So this is based off of the original game called Robotron. And so, it's like if you have a suitable arrangement of 2 joysticks, you can play the game in original Robotron style with the usual stick moving the llama, 2 sticks. So it's basically set up to be able to do 2 sticks. It would actually be really cool to do set this up to be able to do both sticks. You would have to do something special for the game, for the emulator to be able to do it, but it could be done. So this was another shareware game, free game. So the idea behind this is you hold down the fire button and it will kind of lock in your shooting direction. And there's all these power-ups. So this is basically based off of the original Robotron, although it has interesting things like Coke cans and toilets and all kinds of weird stuff. It's one of those games that's like, all right, cool. It's definitely the cool sound effects and very cool game. I should definitely try to set it up with multiple joysticks. That'd be pretty cool, actually. It's a little tricky to like lock it in. Oops. It's a little tricky to lock it in. Another one that has cool sound effects. Oh man. So we're trying to collect all the good guys and shoot all the bad guys. These are joysticks. It's kind of interesting. Some of the sound effects are kind of nuts. It's because I got that the heart. It makes all the beasties come. They get attracted to me, which is kind of cool. What's going on there? That was weird. So anyway, you get the idea. Definitely a trippy game. And he has quite a few games that were like this. And so he actually made quite a few games for the Atari 8-bit as well as. So that's an interesting one that you probably just heard. He made stuff for the 8-bit as well as the ST, as well as the Atari Jaguar, actually. And so he actually made the Tempest 2000. Now, so there's a kind of an interesting little Easter egg in here. And I'm debating whether or not I should show the Easter egg. It's using a certain off-color word known as the F word. Basically, I'll just tell you what it does. So, you know how like it was cutting it off when he was like, oh, F, right? Well, if you actually spell it out in here, it will actually say the whole thing in the game. So I think the idea is that, hey, if you're using that kind of language in the high score, it's okay to uncensor the sound in the game. And that was one of those things that I think I found by accident. And I'm like going, it's just kind of an Easter egg kind of deal. I'm like going, that's awesome. So I'm kind of trying to keep the channel family friendly, so I will refrain from that right now. But if you happen to be playing Lamatron and you type in the certain 4-letter word, it'll uncensor it for you. But that's one of those things that I should find him. I should at one point I was following him on Twitter, and I should say something like, you know what, that was one of the coolest Easter eggs ever. And I don't know if it was ever like published anywhere. But it was definitely neat. Okay. What do I want to show you next? Showed you that. Some of these, without having the name on them, I don't know what it is. So I have to keep like clicking on it. Okay. Let's see. We already did that one. So this is kind of interesting. So the Killing Game Show. So a funny story about this. So me and my buddy Chris, we both had, Atari STs, and we actually, this was back in when I used to live in Ukiah. This was 90. God, I guess this was like 93, 94 time frame, and basically, what we were doing is, we wanted to do more stuff with the Atari ST. And so we actually joined this ST user group that was in Santa Rosa, which was about an hour away from our town. And so each month we'd have a meeting, and in which case we would just have it's a user group meeting. We probably had like 30 people there or something. And it was actually pretty neat. We got together back in those days. Computers were, not everybody had them, and the people that did, they formed groups. They had different things where they got together and shared different stories and software and all that kind of stuff. Well, so we were pretty big into this group, and so Chris and I ended up being the keepers of the discs. What we ended up doing is we ended up, so the thing was, we had discs that we would give out every, as part of your dues. You would give them out each meeting, and it was sort of like a magazine kind of thing in a way, in that we would have some cool programs out there, all free stuff, nothing commercial, but we'd have programs, and we'd have demos, and we'd have little games and things like that, and we kind of would build like this care package, and each month we would give out these discs. Well, we had a couple of busybodies in the group that thought that me including a demo for this particular game called The Killing Game Show, they had a problem with us putting this demo of this game out. The fact that it was called The Killing Game Show. They had a problem with the title. And Chris and I were like, really? The game it's just a shooting game. Like, it's kind of weird. It has nothing to do with a game show. It just has, they kind of hyped it up as being a game show thing, but it's nothing to do with that. By the way, this is also a Psygnosis game, and notice the cool music, the cool graphics and everything. Not a coincidence. So let's see if I can start this game here. Okay. So I have a button. I'm going to fast forward through some of this stuff because it's like, get on with it. Okay. So you're just like this little robot and you're going around and shooting stuff. I mean, it's cool looking, but I mean, it's no different than any other, game that, involves shooting. It's just a shooter. But, we have a water level. I haven't played the game too much. I did play the demo when we released it. But it was like, and so from that point on, we had to like really make sure that we don't, including, anything that was possibly objectionable. And it's like, even the name of it had to be cleared. And it's like, really? So that was our take with the whole not really censorship, but it was like, seriously, that's right, you could climb walls, which was neat. So it's just a platform game basically, but it's pretty neat. It's one of those things that you're not going to see this on a lot of the platforms and stuff. So I'm not doing very well at it, but you get the idea. But yeah, so I had to include this game because of the whole, really, we should not be including games that involve killing. We don't want to have killing as being part of our club. And sorry, there were actually other games that we had that we could have included that I'm not going to show here. There were some very objectionable games, but trying to keep it clean. One of them was called Schoolyard Slaughter, so that should kind of give you an idea of the kind of games that we're talking about. Not the best games in the world, but it was interesting for the time. So here's a pretty cool game. So back then, we didn't have really smooth animations. Animation was not really it was not really a thing that was really heavily stressed on games. I mean, yeah, certain things had some pretty smooth animation and it was neat, but there were certain games that came out that really pushed the envelope on animation. And this is one of them. And I remember when this game came out, I remember being completely blown away. This was one of those that I had to show all my friends because this was so cool. Unfortunately, the titles are in French. So if you speak French, have at it, but, not needed to know, play the game. I'm going to fast forward, I think, a little bit because it's loading off of the disc, but it doesn't show anything. Here we go. I'll let you guys see this intro. So, 3D graphics, it's just like it was very cool for the time. This was like completely unheard of at this point. To have graphics this good. Keep in mind, I think this was like 93, 94 time frame. They had 3D graphics at this point, but it wasn't this smooth. It wasn't this kind of cool. This is like this. I mean, this is like a cartoon movie in a way. The animation was just, top notch. I mean, the graphics are, the guy looks a little weird, but the animation was really cool. Yeah. So that's what you have to, take away from that. So this was actually released as Another World in other countries, but it was released as Out of This World in the US. I'd prefer to have Out of This World, but again, didn't get a chance to kind of make sure everything was perfect the way I wanted it to be. Maybe it was 1990, so that's even earlier. So yeah, it's all in French. So, but you can kind of figure out what's going on. It's a particle accelerator. See, we had normal pop tops by that was the old pop top. Good evening, Professor. I see the professor driving a Ferrari. Gotcha. But we have a storm brewing out there. Hopefully we have a storm brewing out there, too. So there is a electrical storm and you have a particle accelerator, mix the two, and then suddenly you get warped into another world, which is the name of the game, Another World. Funny how that works. Man, you got all that from just briefly looking at it. Wow. So the gameplay itself is pretty cool. It is hard. It is one of those games that you have to do things just right, and you have to time it perfectly. So you're a dude, you can walk around, you can run, you can kick, you can duck, and you can get snagged by that creature that just came out of the water. So I'll play a little bit here until I die, which will happen very soon. So look at those things in the ceiling. They're coming down and they'll up, yep, and spikes you and kills you immediately. Been learning for 8 years. Yes, it is very much like Dragon's Lair. It is Dragon's Lair, is a typical, you keep trying stuff until you figure it out. You up, down, left, right, sword. This is a little bit different than that in that you can move, but it's one of those things you have to be patient. And like that, the guy's going to fall from the sky, from the ceiling. You have to kick him and then kick him. And I think I can run now. Okay, keep going. Got kick. And everything's shaking, which makes things fun. But again, even, it's the animation is still really good. Uh-oh. And he's going to kill me. And I have to keep starting back from the beginning. There are checkpoints, I believe. So you don't have to keep starting from the beginning. After you get to a certain point, you get to a checkpoint. But fun game. I actually beat it a while back. I probably used save states to do it because I just wanted to see the end. It is pretty involved. It is one of those things that it does take quite a while. Even though if you're using save states, he's going to kill me. So it does get frustrating though, especially seeing the animation over and over and over again. It's like, oh God. So I'm not going to bore you with that, but fun game. It can be frustrating, but the main thing with that game is just how beautiful it is. Okay. So next up, I'll show you Oids. So some people consider Oids to be the best game on the system. I can't say I agree with that, but it's good. Let's see. Let's see something quick. Oh, right on. Cool. Okay. So FTL is another really good company. Faster Than Light. They made this as well as a few other games that were really good on the system. I think Oids was a exclusive. I do know that it's very popular. Sometimes the intros are like, it's like, are you waiting for me to click on something? Netherworld is definitely super pretty. Yes, it actually very much was revolutionary. Okay, I guess it was loading. So I'm gonna try just doing the basic level, Normite. So it's kind of I would say kind of like, ooh, cool. To be honest, I only played this just a little bit, but it's kind of reminds me of kind of like Asteroids, but with a planet, and you have to fly around and you actually have to use inertia and stuff. Because when you shoot, I thought it would, maybe not. I thought it was when shooting, I thought it would push you back, but apparently not. So there's, you can jam over to here. I know there was some bad guys. Destroy that tree. I don't know why there'd be a tree on this rocky landscape, but okay. I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to do other than just shooting bad guys. And, boom. Oh, weird. It sent me back. Weird. So I didn't do that. It like sent me away. I guess that's maybe what I was dealing with before. Oh, whoa. Can I pick these guys up? Hello? You gonna drop down? I guess not. Oh, oops. Sorry, dude. Let's see. Can I, sorry for shooting your tree. Whoops. Okay then. So I feel like I should be able to go pick up these guys. Yeah, it's like, hey man, you want to ride? Can I, well, it looks like they went off this rock. Okay, did I land? Okay, so I'm not bouncing anymore. Yay! Get in there. Right on. Maybe that's what I'm trying to do. It'd have been helpful if I'd have known what the objective of the game is, but, you know. Cool. All right. See what we got over here. Ah! Whoa, that was close. Not sure what causes the bigger, like, shooting thingy. Bigger bullet, whatever you want to call it. Pretty fun game. I can see why people really liked it. I never had it, so I didn't know that what I was missing. I definitely like the kind of physics on it, which is pretty neat. Nice. Wonder if it wraps around. Oh, whoa. Whoa! No! Kill the guy. Kill the bad guys. Okay, let's not kill the dudes. Just all right. See if we can land. All right. Don't crush the bad guys. Cool. Get in. All right, let's do it. I'll leave the trees, I guess. Don't need to shoot those. Get it. Okay. This is actually pretty cool. I gotta say that, not having it is one of those things that I should have, because it's a pretty cool game. Okay. That was Oids. All right. Another one that I didn't have, I don't think, but it was majorly, I've seen on a lot of lists as being the best game on the ST. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I never heard of it. So, it's called, Xenon 2. This is a pretty extensive crack tro here. Actually, probably what it is it was the original game, and they just changed some of the text. This is for mega hype, more like, as in mega blast. Okay. So let's see. So here's another shooter type game. Gotta fast forward because it's like 3, 2, 1. It's like, Jesus, make you wait forever to start the game. I guess it's because it's loading, but it's like, oh my God, loaded already. I know I'm just impatient now. Come on, I'm ready. I'm born ready here. The game is actually pretty cool as far as shooters go. Definitely cool. I have a kind of a soft spot for shooters like this. I used to play one a lot called Raiden, arcade game. Eventually we'll get to arcade games in this retro night. I wanted to show you guys all my computer games before going there. Graphics are cool. Sound effects are pretty cool. backgrounds are definitely cool. I'm stuck. That's kind of weird. Normally you don't have like this much stuff to get stuck on. It's like this weird. It's like almost underwater stuff. Sound effects are get a little irritating after a while, but it's okay. One thing that's kind of neat is you can actually make it go backwards a little bit. So if I push down, it'll actually sort of back up, which is kind of trippy. That's not a thing usually in shooter games. I'm like stopping it from going forward, which is kind of, I don't think I've ever seen a game do that. These guys are like centipedes here. I imagine I have to hit the head in order to actually kill the thing. I wonder if I just want to go forward because I'm probably wasting fuel or something. That's getting a little tight there. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's kind of trippy that it's like allows you to get stuck. It's like you chose poorly. Let's go the leftmost route instead of right. Ow. Boom. Ouch. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. It definitely has some stuff going on that a lot of other shooters don't. Definitely worth checking out. I could see actually doing a longer play on that one. Xenon 2 Mega Blast. Okay. I'm not going to play it. Yeah, I'll show you Road War, but playing is a little harder because it's one of those that you really need to have the manual to be able to play it. In that it's a strategy game. Trying to think of what it would be similar to these days. I can't really think of anything. Basically, you're trying to go around it's kind of like Mad Max, but in like a strategy game. In that you have a crew, you have like a gang of guys, and this is apocalyptic, US. So Road War 2000. They actually made a Road War Europa as well. I think it came out after this. Do we want to load an old game? No. It's mouse based. What would be our name of our gang? Let's go MEP, just for Mission Ed Possible. Okay, and we have a truck here, and we can you can do searching for in the area. You can do like let's say we want to search for vehicles. You can hit V, and you can just check for certain things. So you found a usable compact hardtop. Will you take it? Sure, why not? Let's grab more vehicles. Compact convertible? Nah, we don't want a convertible. We want flatbed truck. That's what we want. Compact hardtop? Sure. Okay. Off-road hardtop. That sounds great. We're just going to keep increasing the number of vehicles. Van sounds great. Okay. Mid-size convert. Now, convertibles are going to be horrible in post-apocalyptic. Sports car? Probably not. No. Okay, so we have 6 vehicles. That's pretty good. Now what we can do is we can look for people. So we can recruit people here. So we can say, wait, send envoys, leave, fire, volley. Let's send envoys, see what they say here. We're not going to send arms master, but we're going to send a bodyguard and see what happens. They killed your envoys. Oh, that sucks. Ow. And they killed me. Well, that was a very quick game, and we're done with this game. Your gang is dead, and so are you. Would you like to play again? It's definitely one of those things that it could happen either way. Unfortunately, that kind of makes it so that you end up save scrubbing a lot, and it's just like, it's definitely a cool game, but maybe not as cool as it was back then. For me, it is the year 2000, and the United States has fallen into a biological plague. Wow. That sounds a little too close to home. Although it's not 2000, it's 2021. But yeah, thankfully we didn't get to that point. Okay, at least not yet. So, Populous, definitely an interesting game. It is what a lot of people would call a god game. It has come out on a lot of different platforms, and Electronic Arts, and it is the idea behind the game is you're trying to kind of develop your civilization so that you can take over the world effectively. It's been a long time since I played it. I played it earlier today, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's been a long time. I do remember having to kind of raise and lower land to make it so that your guys could actually grow. Basically, you want your population to grow. It's one of those things that there's a ton of icons on here, and really what I would need to do is actually read the instructions probably in the manual on what all these things do, but we don't have time for that. So here's our map, and we have our guys right over here. These are the blue guys right here. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to flatten out the land so that they can develop their civilization. So I'm trying to it's basically like a terraforming simulator, effectively. You're trying to build this up. This is one aspect of the game, is you're trying to terraform so that they can build their civilization, and as they get bigger, as they can grow, they'll basically make their castles like that. So that's the goal. And there's probably hotkeys to do this, but it's like to be able to move around on the thing. There should be hotkeys if there's not. And basically, you're trying to kind of grow this up, and they'll get from a smaller house to a bigger house, and then eventually, if they can, they will create a castle. And you just kind of keep doing this. Again, it's been a long time since I played to kind of get the best strategy for the game. But the idea is that on the other side of the world over here, these guys are doing the same thing. And so are these guys. So we have the red guys over here. Oh, it's kind of funny. They have a red guy over there and red guys over here. And I'm the blue guys over here. So the idea is that, we're trying to develop our civilization faster than the other guy. And as you do that, you'll gain better stuff in the game. If you look here, it shows like the different civilization stuff that you gain by getting a bigger population. That's the gist of the game. I remember having a lot of fun with this game. A friend of mine, I know, used to play a lot, and they actually had a sequel to it. And they actually had a few different games that were kind of related to this. I know they had like Populous 2. They had, I think Gods was another one. There was Powermonger was another one. And it was just one of those things that, this was before really. I guess this would kind of be considered a real-time strategy game, not in the modern sense, but the similar idea as far as you're building out your civilization and you're trying to. Oh, that's right. You have to have a dude on the screen in order to build. I forgot about that. So like right here, there's no guy. So I have to wait. I think there has to be a flag in order to build. I remember that. So there's these guys that have built out, and let's see, I can keep going with this over here, and kind of flatten it out for them. But I'm on the edge of the map, so I can only do so much. Like if I go further out, I can't do anything with it. So I got to find where my guys are. It has been a long time since I played this for real. Do I have any more guys? So this is the, I don't remember where, like you can, that's the onk. You can move it, I think, to where you want to put it somewhere else. But to be honest, I don't remember what exactly I'm trying to do here. I do know that I needed to flatten the land. So I was like, okay, flatten, and then make it so that the guys can expand. And, it's one of those things that some of these games I really, they're, kind of coming from the 2600 days and the 8-bit days, games at this level, they had a lot more going on. There's a lot more strategy involved and understanding the actual game mechanics rather than just playing it like, arcade games, you don't need a manual for that. You shouldn't, because, they're supposed to be simple. You're supposed to just be able to pick it up and just play. Well, then not so much with these kind of games. These were definitely more strategic. You really needed to know what was going on. And so like, all right, I know there's got to be a lot of tutorials out there on how to play Populous, how to beat Populous, how to get good at Populous, et cetera, which I may or may not look up. But anyway, you get the idea. You can do, the problem is like today we would be in an interface like this. Something just happened. I don't know what it was. Oh, wow. He's going crazy over here. He still has small houses, though, so I don't know what else he's doing. He has lots of dudes. I don't know what that symbol is. It doesn't look good. Yeah, I have all these guys over here, but they're not growing in population. There's just castles. They build castles. Anyway, today, I think this is the balance here. So like he has more guys. I think that's why it's got more. It's got his bars filling up more. In any case, there's probably I just need to learn what these things are. But anyway, these days you would hover over something and you would have like a tooltip that would tell you, click on this to do this, click on that to do that. Not so much in this, at this era. They didn't have a lot of good user interface stuff. So it was kind of wild, wild west back then. This is point and click interface, which is very new at the time, to be honest. What we know as a GUI interface in certain things that are expected, we didn't have that. We didn't have any kind of standards. So, the guys made them up. I mean, the interesting thing about this is it's isometric. And I mean, it actually looks really good for the time, but the buttons are all, isometric and everything. So it's actually pretty neat. It's just, there's certain things that we expect today, of saying, we can do like this thing, and I don't know how to do it. It's like, it's left and right mouse button. You can do these things. You can fight. You can put a flag somewhere. But yeah, so it's like, all right, so how do I do that? Because that increases and lowers that. It's like, that's not what I want. So it's like, all right, I can click on things. That's, I don't know. I have to read the manual. Anyway, so this is Populous. Pretty cool game. I definitely, it's one of those, oh, our symbols changed. That's cool. Definitely would be one that I would definitely have to brush up on to figure out how to actually play. Okay. Oxide. This was one that I had the shareware version of. I didn't actually have the commercial version of it. I've tried playing it earlier, and it was like one of those, I'm like, how do we do that? I don't remember how to play the game. And it was another strategy game. Definitely during this time, I got a lot more into strategy games and a lot less into arcade games. So it was definitely a lot more interesting to me to do more strategy stuff. Fast forwarding because apparently it's loading right now. Okay. So looking for a link connection. We don't have a link connection. Oh, I'm not going to hit escape. It's going to close it. We don't want that. I don't want to hit escape because escape will kill it. I thought about like saying, okay, in order to actually hit escape, you need to hold down control escape or something. Oh, well. Let's try again, and I'll fast forward again and see if I can get through it. Okay. I played it earlier. I think I had to hit a key for some reason instead of the button. So one of the things that's interesting about the Atari ST is it was actually a lot. Oh, left mouse button starts game. It was mouse. Yeah, it was mouse, I think. That's the problem. I was trying to use a controller. So you're like bouncing this ball. And I'm trying to remember what exactly I'm trying to do. I think I'm trying to match, kind of like a match two kind of game. Green. Yeah, I believe it is what it is. So it's blue, red. Okay, so that opened. So those are good. Ouch. But you move the mouse around and you're trying to unlock a thing. Okay, green, it's going to be, no, green and blue and blue. Yay. So another kind of puzzle game. I'm trying to remember what that was. I don't remember how to do that. Oh, interesting. Okay, and then green, blue, green. There we go. Neat game. I remember playing a lot of it. It was definitely a cool, puzzly. Now this one, I think. Oops. Oh, weird. It's multiple screens. Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, so you have to... Oh, wow. So you have to instead of the ball going over there, you actually have to make the laser go over there. Keep going crazy and go too fast and crash. So the idea is, you have to click these, you have to match. It's a matching game, but very cool game. I remember playing a lot of it, and it was a lot of fun. So one of the things I was gonna say here is they actually have a MIDI mode on here. Now MIDI, if you've heard of MIDI, you might have heard it in relation to keyboards and stuff. So MIDI is a standard used by keyboards, and it used a special cable. And one of the things that was neat about the Atari ST was that for whatever reason, they decided that somebody had the idea of putting MIDI ports on the Atari ST. Okay. This has never been done before or since. Atari, they said, hey, let's put MIDI ports on this thing, because why not? And I think it was something that wasn't super expensive. And I think that they wanted to kind of isolate, or not isolate. I think they wanted to kind of set themselves up for being a standard computer for musicians. And so having MIDI ports built in meant that you could plug in your keyboard and plug into the computer, run some software that was pretty readily available, and be able to do sequencing with it. So in other words, if you wanted to record, like what I was talking about with the sound tracker stuff, if you had a MIDI keyboard, you hook it up to it, and then you could actually record and play back your MIDI notes, as in, so it recorded it not with samples, but with MIDI, so that you could say, all right, so if you wanted to play something, you actually could download MIDI files and actually play those out on your keyboard. And it would sound like however good your keyboard sounded. So that was actually a pretty neat thing. And the deal was, I have to remember how to play this game. I don't remember totally how to play this. It is it's called Elite Frontier 2. I'll get back to the music thing in a minute. I was trying to hit keys earlier and ended up shooting, and it was bad because they shot me. This is one of those where I definitely would have to look at a manual. So I'm just hitting random keys. It's like, no, that's probably not what I want. Because there's 1, 2, I wonder if it's F keys. F keys. Okay. So one of the things that was cool about this is that it had a randomly generated universe, very similar to the way No Man's Sky does. And so you can actually, it has, I think, 10 million planets or something crazy. And this is for the time. I mean, this was like 1990. So, I mean, this was a long time ago. And the idea behind the game, it was actually cool. You could actually do, you could go to the shipyard. You can, go on the bulletin board, stock market. So you can actually go in here and say, okay, I want to go look for ships. And you can see the different ships that are available. So it's a constrictor, and, all these different types of ships. And depending on the price and all the mass and everything, basically, so this is his graphics are amazing. For the time, this was actually pretty cool. I love the the characters, I was like, all right. Anyway, so the idea was that this is kind of a space trader type game. Now, if you have heard of the game Elite Dangerous, which is a pretty popular game these days, it has its origins in this game. And actually, Elite was the first game in this series. And then this is actually Elite 2 Frontier, made by David Braben. I'm almost positive that he had a hand with Elite Dangerous, because the game is essentially the same. If you're playing Elite Dangerous, it's like this, but with better graphics and modern stuff. But the idea is, in here you can go to different star systems rather, trade, buy, sell equipment. You can bring guys with you, like for example, you can go on to our, let's see, if we go back to, F3, we can go to the bulletin board, and we can see here, wanted passage for a small group to the Delta Pavonis service system. We'll pay 700 credits. So you can be like, all right, I want to take this guy with me. And so we have a missing person. All right. So in the Wolf 630 system, so basically it's a possible quest to go on, and these are all like randomly generated. And so it's like luxury goods. We'll pay this much per ton. So the idea is that you could, by playing this kind of game, and there's a ton of this stuff. So you could go from system to system and really kind of plan, you make a living doing, as a space guy, I don't know, like trader, basically a trader / smuggler, because they have like illegal, stuff in the game. And, you go to some weird, out of range solar system that, the cops aren't there or whatever. And you can totally buy and sell that stuff, black market stuff. And you can trade it, and obviously you don't want to have contraband on you if you're in a good system that'll check you and stuff. So, I mean, this game right here actually is kind of the basis for a lot of the modern games like this, like another one that's really popular. Why am I mind blanking? It's an MMO. Why am I mind blanking? It's a space game, basically spreadsheets in space. Help me out, chat. That's what it's been called, is space spreadsheets in space, because you deal with trying to make stuff and sell it, and you mine things, and I can't think of it right now, and my mind is blanking. Anyway, a lot of games actually, in my opinion, owe a lot to Elite as well as Frontier. And it's one of those things that this is not a game I can play for like 5 minutes. It's a game that is a many hour type of game. I'm not sure if it has an ending. I don't know. No, it's a game that's out right now. It's been out for several years. It's been out for the last 20 years almost. It's still going. It's an MMO. Anyway, they have these big space battles and stuff all the time, and it's pretty epic. Anyway, very cool game. So actually, if I can take off, let's see if I can take off here. Refuel, launch request. Let's see if I can launch here. Seal airlocks and prepare for launching. Okay. 7. Can I take off? I don't know how to do it. Oh, no. Okay. I don't know how to take off. I'll have to look it up. oh, sorry. Still don't know. No worries. Why? I don't know why my mind is blanking on it. It's a pretty popular game. Anyway, definitely a cool game. It's one of those things that I saw 100 million planets, I guess, and moons. You'll never see the end of it. Definitely cool. Okay, so I've seen these. Captain Blood. Another Psygnosis game. God, that's going to bug me until I find out what the name of it is. What? Oh. I got to look it up. Elmo space game. Eve Online. That's what it is. Eve Online is one that I've played quite a while as well, because it definitely is very similar to the Frontier and all that stuff. So interesting. The music, Jean-Michel Jarre. Am I saying that right? The DM, hopefully. He is a press insert disc 2. I have not messed with that. That's why I was like, I should put it on there, but it didn't work. He was one of the the artists that I actually got into after getting, doing all this kind of stuff. And he was a major electronic musician. He's still active. And I don't have the second disc set up to be able to switch them. So unfortunately I can't play that one. This one's kind of interesting. Barbarian. Jarre. Okay, instead of Jarre, sorry. All right. Fortunately, I hate it when these games don't automatically launch. I hate having to mess with the windowed system. So this the gem system is kind of ugly. I don't like the I've never liked that system. They could have done so much more with it to make it so much cooler, but they didn't. It was just basically like, yep, let's throw this on there and you have a windowed system. Yay, there you go. They'd have just had the ability to change the background or color or any of that kind of stuff. It would have been so much cooler. Okay. So this is an interesting game called Barbarian, as you can see. So, so I'm the guy on the left. I was doing pretty good. Now he's okay. Ow. Ow. Can't remember how it shows. Oh, it shows the health up the top. Okay. I thought this was one where you could actually cut off the head of the other guy. Yeah, at some point I'll learn French. Yeah, I believe that you could actually cut the head off of the guy and stuff. It's just like, whoa, that's so cool. I could be thinking of a different one though that allowed you to do that, cut off limbs and stuff. Oh well. Okay. Barbarian, and so I went down. What's this? Oxide. Okay. So we are down to the last two games that I wanted to show you guys. This one is considered pretty much the best game, my favorite game on the Atari ST, hands down. Dungeon Master. So it's going to take a minute to load. Let me back up a moment. So I got distracted by the game or whatever, but so music. So the fact that it had mini ports made it so that the Atari ST kind of cemented itself as being the computer for musicians. And that actually is what kept it kind of relevant for a while. And if it didn't have that, it was kind of a saving grace for the machine, to be honest. A lot of musicians got the ST because it had that capability, and it was cheap. That was another thing. The Atari, I want to say it came out. It was, I think, $500 like for a system, which was like really cheap. So there's actually, funny enough, there's actually musicians that still use the Atari ST, even to this day. The one notable one that I know of is Fat Boy Slim. That guy, he's one guy, but he uses the Atari ST still. And he, I watched this one video with him talking about it and how he does his work and all that. And he doesn't do it with the samples with it, but he does do with like sequencing with it. And he had like a external sampler that he had, and then he would sample sounds, and he would use the ST to track it so that it would play different sounds. Now, you can do that on any computer these days. But the fact that he still uses an Atari ST, it kind of cracks me up. Now, the one thing that's cool, that you don't have problems with things like viruses, and you don't have problems like, you don't have to worry about the internet, and you don't have to worry about any of these things, because the machine just works. The machine is one of those things that it's pretty solid. You can get them now and they still work. So you can pick up ST up off of eBay for like $100, if that, like $50, something like that. At one point I had one, I had one as a kid, obviously, but at one point I had rebought one just to have. So for whatever reason, this loading screen takes forever. It always has. It takes so much time to load in. So I'm going to actually speed it up here. So, that's kind of the idea behind the music stuff. So this is Dungeon Master. So this is Dungeon Crawler. It does a, you can walk around. This is actually very revolutionary for the time. When this came out, this was like amazing. People were like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's 3D, but it's like pseudo 3D kind of way. Yes, Highlander Z. I was going to mention MIDI Maze. Yes, absolutely. I didn't include it on here because it's kind of pointless to play with one player. I will talk about MIDI Maze in a minute, but Highlander, or rather, walking around in this is it's a dungeon crawler, but you can basically, did I just turn around? Yes, I did. Duh. Okay. So the idea behind this is you go around. I'm just going to play through it real fast and not try to do anything crazy. So there's little things written on the walls, Hall of Champions. I'm just going to take the four closest guys or fastest guys. So you can kind of see what his stats are. You can resurrect or reincarnate. It's usually best to resurrect, just because with reincarnate you can rename them and you can do other stuff, but it's not as good usually. You don't get the skills, I think. So I'm just going to grab 3 random dudes. This is not the ideal way to do it. Usually you want to kind of min-max, but it's okay. We're okay here. All right. So you get 4 guys, 4 people. And so now we have a full group here. You can right click on any of these, and we've got, four different people, and they've got different skills. So you can actually see he's a novice ninja, apprentice wizard. We can click on this and see novice fighter, apprentice wizard. So all these guys, actually, this one has priest skill, which is nice. And this one also has priest skill. So that's kind of cool. So let's see. I'm used to using the keyboard to go faster, but I'll limp along with this because having the keyboard set up properly is kind of a pain. Let's see if I can remember how to get out of here. It's been a while. Here we go. So you can pick up an apple, right click on it, and put it here. Now, one of the things you can see is, you can see their food and water, how good they're doing with that. You can go through here, grab some bread. This user interface was pretty revolutionary for the time. So it's like, oh, we'll grab a torch. Sounds great. We'll need that. All right. And this is one of those things that I play this game every, few years and just go through it. Usually I did it just last year, I think. So you can look at this thing here. It's a scroll and it has invoke FUL for a magic torch. Now, in the manual, it actually would tell you what these symbols mean over here. I actually memorized them based on a number versus the name, but I do know what the FUL thing is. So basically the idea is that the spell casting in this is actually pretty neat. I'm going to go ahead and go down. You can see what I'm talking about here. I don't need to go over there. So we're going to hit darkness. Okay. So the first thing is the power. So it goes from 1 to 6 here. And I use numbers. The game wanted to use, you'll use a whatever and a spell. I was like, or just say 1. And so to do like a light is 1-4 or 2-4 if you want to go for a higher power one. And notice it's got mana over here and it will drop. So we can actually notice how we have a monster here and grab a club, and the guys in the front, which are the green and the yellow guys over here, which you can move them around if needed. These guys in the front, and you can, once this guy comes back, and I'll show you kind of a trick here. Come on. So we can swing and it kills him. Another thing you can do is, and I didn't just because, the guy, you can drop the door on him. It's just kind of funny too. So it's kind of cool. It has like a hidden secret. Ooh, a sword. Yay. So we can not worry about that club, but we can hold on to it, whatever. Grab some food. Food and water are absolutely necessary in the game. You can see small details can hide great rewards. Basically, that's the thing. Click on, look around for things. You can do, you can grab, I'm grabbing all the food, but you can also throw stuff. So this is kind of interesting. So you can throw and, you get to go pick it up. You don't have to, I guess, but, it's basically there's only a certain amount of them and in the game even. And so just daggers and throwing stars and rocks and all that stuff, you can throw them. And you have the bad guys either casting spells or throwing stuff. And one of the things that was really cool about this game was the fact that you develop your skills by just using them. So if you throw stuff, you can gain a ninja skill. If you swing your sword, you can gain a fighter skill. You have to be fighting against a bad guy in order to get the skills. But the idea is that you can just develop the skills as you go. So the game is full of puzzles. You have to go find, we found a key. Yay. Okay. I'll just slap it in there. And then, you keep going around, and the games get, the puzzles get easier or harder and harder as you go. So it's like, now we have to do a lever. Okay. So it's kind of got a little, kind of a tutorial in a way. It shows you, you probably don't want to drop in that pit. All right, cool. We'll do that. And now we have another key. Cool. And now we have some gear. Yay. So I'll throw it on my, dude right there. He needs some boots. Yes. Okay, cool. So anyway, so this is Dungeon Master. You get the idea. There's 13 or some odd levels in this game, and you just keep going down, until you finally beat the bad guy, which his name is Chaos. I know, a real original name, but they actually made a sequel to it, and it's called Chaos Strikes Back. funny enough, that was actually only released on the Atari ST. It was not ported to any other platforms. So if you actually wanted to play the sequel to it, you had to play it on the ST. It was definitely a lot harder. It was more of the same, but a lot of puzzles. And it just got harder and harder. I played it a little bit. I didn't get super far in the second one. I don't know which one's better to use. Let's see. So we got these guys. But definitely a cool game. I personally, this is my favorite game on the machine, period. And again, this is one I will play a lot. They actually did port this over to the PC, and they actually made a sequel to this, a separate sequel, which is interesting. So they actually had Dungeon Master and Chaos Strikes Back on the Atari ST. It was ported to, it was originally on the ST, and it was ported to, I believe, the Amiga, Atari, or rather Apple II GS, as well as PC. And I think they actually had some console ports and stuff, but that's weird. But the idea was that it was on all these different platforms. But Chaos Strikes Back was only on the ST, as I said. But what's interesting is on the PC, they actually made another sequel called Dungeon Master 2, which took the same idea, but then they gave it better graphics, and they actually added a lot of new mechanics. Like, I believe you could go outside. It actually had a vendor, and they actually did it. They kept the same structure, but they just added to it, and they actually made it a really cool game. It's one of those things I played it and beat it a long time ago, but it's one of those things I'd like to revisit at some point. In any case, this is definitely my favorite. Very cool game. Now, to Highlander Z's point, so the MIDI ports on the machine had the ability. So MIDI has the ability to you can actually do a network with MIDI. And so the idea is if you have a bunch of different devices in your MIDI network, you give each one of these a MIDI address, a number, basically. And it can go from, I believe it's one based, I believe it's 1 to 16. And the idea is that so you can have 16 devices all on this MIDI bus. And the way it works is you have an in and an out, and you actually have a through, depending on if you have on some keyboards it has a through, but you really have an in and out. And so with the in and out, what you would do is let's say you had two computers, you would just say, go in and out here to the in and out here, and just do it that way. And so you'd have two nodes. If you had more than that, you could do you do a daisy chain. So you go from the out to here, to the in to here, out to the in, out, basically you make a circle with it. So you can actually put up to 16 computers, like a MIDI network of ST computers in this network. And so there was I know one game that supported this, but there might have been others, maybe homebrews, but there was one called MIDI Maze. I don't have it here. I actually thought about it afterwards. But the thing that was interesting about MIDI Maze is that it was basically like a Pac-Man game, but it was multiplayer, and it was in a 3D environment. So you walk around in a 3D maze, or walk, whatever. You hover around, and you're basically like a happy face, but it's like a Pac-Man kind of thing. And you're trying to, kill the other guys. Well, what was interesting is I had played it a little bit here and there. And of course I had played it by myself, which was lame. It's like the whole idea behind the game was to be able to play with other people. And so when I went off to college, as I was saying earlier, I had found some people on, I don't remember how I found these people, but I don't know if it was on Usenet or some other way, but I found some local people that were into Atari ST stuff. And a lot of them went to the college. This was actually at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo and California. And so I got together with this group of people, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to have a MIDI Maze game?" And I'm like, hell yeah, I do. And so I come over to this house, and we had 12 people, all with their STs out, all fired up, and we all like, I brought mine and everything. So this was like a LAN party before LAN parties really existed. And so this was like 93 time frame. And I was so like, I was in my element because I had, all these people that were enthusiasts of the thing that I, what I was interested in. And we were all able to play in the same game. And I was ecstatic. And funny enough, it was actually at this guy's house. And I like kind of spent the night sort of there. And it was kind of a flop house, to be honest. And it was kind of interesting because I was like, oh yeah, you seem pretty cool. You want a key to the house? I'm like, I think I'm good, but all right. I had just met these people, but they were really cool, kind of stoner people or whatever. And I was just like, this is so cool. I had such a blast. Yes, playing Mini Maze was cool, but it was more about the people that I met and the ability of actually playing the game with them. So that was my Mini Maze story. Thank you for bringing it up, Highlander Z. I was thinking about earlier. I'm like, Mini Maze. I totally forgot about that. Okay, so I have one game here that I promised I would play to a certain somebody in the chat. It is the Addams Family. And I had mentioned the Addams Family being ported over to the Atari ST. And I thought it was a pretty good port. I had not played it on the consoles. I had mentioned this before. I didn't have like a NES or Super NES or anything at that point. I had computers. That was my deal. So having a real platform game ported to the platform or ported to my computer, it was kind of a special thing for me. It was kind of like, hey, this is a real game that other people know. And so I to be honest, platform games are not my specialty. I do enjoy them. I enjoy like the graphics and everything. It's and I'm not good at the game, so do not judge my platforming abilities. This is one of those games though that has a ton of secrets. I'm actually going to go inside the house. I was like, oh no, you need to go over here, you need to go over there, or whatever. Let's see if I remember how to do it. There we go. So I actually really enjoyed it, even though I don't play platforms much. It was cool to actually have a quote unquote real platformer on the computer. Because again, everybody else had the consoles and stuff. And so I kind of was left out with the computer stuff because, the computer games, we had like things like Populous and all that, but we didn't have stuff like this. That wasn't really a thing, Oops. And I died. We didn't have this kind of stuff. And this is going to need to be, I'm going to have more lives in order to play this, I know. So for me, it was like, oh, it's cool to have, the actual good games. Watching me do horribly at a platform game. Oh wow, okay, I got to a checkpoint, I guess. I'm just gonna limp along here and just get the dollars and do the thing here. And I died again. So this is just gonna be like me dying for like the next 10-15 minutes. So but personally, I really like the graphics compared to a lot of the other stuff. We didn't have a lot of these kind of games, as I was mentioning. So for me, ouch, ow, ow, ow. Pretty sure I only have a certain amount. Oh yeah, I only have one life left. I don't want to use it. Here. I probably should not have picked this level. I know the DM is sitting there going, Why, oh why did you choose that level? You could have chosen any other level. You could have chosen any other level, but you chose that level, which happens to be one of the hardest ones. And let me go pick a different room. Those that play platform games are probably going, wow, you are lame. And I am when it comes to platformers. That's just not a thing that I do. I enjoy them. I enjoy that they exist. I like the fact that they're a thing, but I'm not getting good at them, so I tend not to play them. Oh, weird. This looks like a special level or something. Go inside the tree. Ooh, this is a secret path to the graveyard. All right, cool. Ow. Yeah, I know you know where all the stuff is. I do not. I'm just gonna flounder a bit and just keep going, see how far I can go for a certain amount of time. How about that? Probably don't want to fall down there. Okay, I'm good. This hat's not going to last long. I do remember there's been a ton of free lives in this game. Oh, weird. Ha! Don't know what that was, but whatever. Oh, I guess it was maybe in vulnerability, maybe? Apparently, because I'm not dying, so. Cool. Let's see what's over here. Nothing. Okay, it's going away. Something's going away. And vulnerability is going away. All right. Oops. Ow. Ow, ow. Okay, let's get up here. Ouch. Ow. I know the blinking is supposed to show that you're like, you whatever, you got hit and you're, you know, I don't know if you're invulnerable at that time or whatever, but it's sort of annoying. Ow. A no death run? You were insane. You know, there's a reason why they give you so many lives, right? Because doing a no death run would be crazy. That's me. I do like to do challenges that are crazy, I know, but I got all those free lives now. I gotta, waste them all. So next time, I think I want to explore some of the other ST games that I definitely I would have liked to shown tonight. Apparently, I didn't have like the major ones. I had other weird ones that I can't find in any lists and stuff. So I got to do some digging and find some stuff, as well as finding. I think it'd be great to set up one of the mod players. To play some of the best mods. I've actually wanted to do that for a long time with the music stuff, as I was talking about earlier. Have it so that I can play some of those mods, and some of the music, it's original music a lot of times. And I could even find my mod that I made, which is probably out there on the internets. And I just need to do a search for it. Because I did upload it to the, there was a certain website at that point, I think, that kept track of or had just a mod download thing. So I'll have to find that. I bet you guys can't guess what the mod was that I made. It was not an original song. It was, I guess I'll continue. It was not an original song. So it would not be one you would expect either. Well, actually, you might expect it. Weird. Yes, it was an Aerosmith song. Lurch, that's horrible piano playing, man. Okay. Guess I can't do anything there. Nope. It was not Dude Looks Like a Lady. Try again. Uncle Fester came this way earlier with Abigail. Okay. I don't know who Abigail is, but alright. Cool. That's not happy. Okay. I'm just blasting through it. Oh, that's not fun down there. We don't want to mess with that. Gotta say that the characters are pretty cool. The Morticia art does not look ideal. This looks kind of ugly in that picture. Oh boy. Alright, let's see if I can do this. Ow, 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 ow! Okay. Ouch. Therapist. Okay. I have not seen the movie since it came out, so that should tell you something. I am not a freak about oh wow, another room. That's cool. about Addams Family. I mean, it's cool, but it's definitely not one of my areas that I'm obsessed about. Some people are. I have a friend of mine that's like all about Addams Family. It's like, yeah. I know minus 273. I know likes Addams Family, or at least Wednesday Addams. Okay. That doesn't look happy. Those spikes don't look happy. I'll just hang out down here. I don't need that money. So no, was Gomez obsessed with money in the movie or anything? Because seems like a thing that he's going. Issue Gallery right now is actually the best starting place in the game. Ah, okay, cool. They just how to get extra lives. Sure, I know. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Normally you see, I mean, I guess the other games they use coins and stuff, so it's not that big a deal. But the fact that they're dollar signs is kind of an interesting one. Ow. I need the heart, not that heart. I need another heart. All right, I think I'm done with this. Sorry, the DM. I played for quite a while. Not my kind of game. It's still fun, but yeah, it's like I have a hard time playing those games for too long. Okay, let's see. So these are the favorites. So I have a few more minutes. What I was going to do is go through and look at what I have for let's see, let's do only Atari ST. So I already did the favorites, so there's actually a few different there's lots of stuff in here that I was like, I have no idea what it is. And some of it, it's like I never had it, so I tried to keep it. Yeah, I mean, it's fun, but for a platformer, that's really the issue, is because if I'm not really interested in platformers, it's kind of like, it's cool, but it's just, yeah, not really my my thing. See if this is where this works. No, okay. So some of these, it's like I downloaded the zip file and it had a zip file within a zip file, which is annoying. It's like, no, I don't, no, that makes it annoying. So a lot of these, so some of these actually are kind of interesting. See if this is one that'll work. So one of the things that they did on a lot of these games was it crashed. Wonderful. They actually put out what are called, what are they? I guess compilations. So they had these, funny enough, they called them compact discs, which was kind of ironic. It had nothing to do with the CD. Let's see, did any of them work? Let's see. I have not tried any of these, so sorry for subjecting you to this. I have no idea if this will, if any of these will fire up. But anyway, so what they would do is they would take a lot of these games that were kind of small, and they would put them on a disc, compact them a lot, put an interesting thing on here, and put a bunch of games on there. So there's So if you look, there's you press 1 for this game, and press 2 for this game, and press 3 for this game. Why do I know this song? Why do I know this song? That's funny. They would like reproduce like normal songs. So I'm just gonna pick a game here. I picked 3. I have no idea which one it was. But anyway, so they would take a lot of these games and they would really, you make me double click. Why you make it a menu then? Why? Irritates me. Anyway, and they would just slap a bunch of these together. I personally hate them because I want to be able to use my menu system and I have no idea what this is. This almost looks like a tracker. No idea what this is. No idea. Okay, we'll not mess with that one. Let's see. What was I gonna say? So there's Awesome 21, all these different compact disc things. I want to be able to do it with my menu, and I don't want to have to go onto one of these and then click on a number to be able to load the particular game. Or it's like I usually don't mess with them. But a lot of these, is where you can find a lot of the games that are maybe harder to find. Hudson Hawk, Moonfall, Infiltration Docks, and okay, so let's see. Let's go to 1. I don't know. And it crashes. So the thing is interesting is, so those bombs there you see on the left-hand side, that was when, the system crashed. And, it could be a software problem. It could be a hardware problem. You never know. My guess is it's a software problem because, well, the hardware is an emulation. So probably not a hardware problem. Not all these games work because, well, for one, they're expecting an actual machine, and sometimes emulation doesn't work perfectly for it. So it's kind of, your mileage may vary. But I'm just kind of playing around at this point. We're kind of in bonus lane here. I found, this is the same thing. I'll try a different game, I guess. Let's try Infiltration. Let's see if this works any better. Again, what I want to do is I'd like to have kind of all the games that I played, all the the best games and all this stuff set up. This crap 3D game was not protected. Okay, fine. So they just put it together in a compilation. Fine. Anyway, a lot of times when you see it blinking like that is when it's unpacking it. Basically, it's got some major compression going on, and so because disk space was a premium, they would compress everything as much as possible. Okay, I have no idea anything about this game. The mission is to place mines on the large crosses and then get out of the ship. Press left button. Okay. All right. Cool. Why is it on rails? What is it doing? I don't know what it's doing. So let's see. This is full 3D, which is kind of cool. We have a wall. All right. All right. I don't know what I'm doing here. Weird. Okay. Yeah, if they had keyboard controls, that'd work. No, actually it does. It's like not ideal keyboard controls. It has W. I don't know what that does. It has Q and W. So keep in mind, when this came out, we didn't have standards on WASD and stuff. So, manufacturers just made things up. They went, oh, yeah, we'll just use these keys. And the only way you're going to know that is if you're looking in the manual or something. So I don't even know what some of these things are. But anyway, what I want to do is I want to set it up with all of the games that I care about, and also, have it set up so that I don't have to mess with any of that. And if there's multiple discs, have it set up to be able to swap discs. I have no idea how to do yet. Roll feed, press 2 for Charge of the Light Brigade. Auto hack. Okay. I don't know what any of these are. Never even heard of them. There's a ton of games out there that I have not heard of. And for the most part, one of the things that I do with the emulation stuff is, part of me wants to like have everything available and, make it so that all of the games are available and stuff. It's like, that is I think unreasonable goal. So what I do a lot of times, what I do when I'm setting stuff up is I will go by, what is the most popular of the genre, or even ones that were like, oh yeah, I really like this game, and it wasn't popular, but it was really cool. I will look for those kind of things, and I'll be like, oh, cool, I'll check it out then. Like some of the stuff that I was talking about with the public domain games that aren't going to be on a lot of the top 10 lists, but they actually have some cool stuff out there. Okay, so this looks like it's a strategy game. Interesting. I don't know if it's like Risk or what. Dragoons. Okay. I do know. What is that? 3 dudes or 1 dude? Interesting. I don't know. This looks like kind of like a Risk type game or something, which I actually do like. But yeah, this is probably one that needs a manual of some sort, because it's like I have no idea what I'm doing. Turkish infantry. That's kind of neat. You can see it from all different angles and stuff. So they actually did all the pixel art from all the different angles, which is kind of neat. The Charge of the Light Brigade as in the poem. Sure, we'll go with that. It's like the famous poem, of course. Anyway, sorry. Ball, as in bocce. Trying to think of some of these games that I actually may know something about, but I haven't played them. They did a lot of TV or movie to game things. Obviously, they've done that forever. But the Bard's Tale. So that looks nothing like that. This is the original Bard's Tale. Let's see if it works. I have not tried it yet. We're in bonus lane definitely here on finding other things that might be kind of cool. Bard's Tale, really old RPG. That was weird. Okay. Auto execution canceled. All right. Why? Just play the game. Run it. Why don't make me click on stuff? It's annoying. So another thing that I would like to do is, depending on the game, if it's a game that I really want to have available, I want to go through and make sure that things are set up so that they can run without having to like double click on it. Another thing that would be kind of cool is you can actually simulate a hard drive. Back in the day, I actually had a hard drive, and it was really cool to just have everything installed there. A lot of games didn't work well with it, but now this is kind of cool because this is probably going to be a better version than what was out on the PC at the time, because the graphics and the sound capabilities were definitely better on the ST than they were for STs at the time, or for PCs rather. So get the busy bee usually means it's loading of some sort. Cool music, but can we get on with it? I'm gonna fast forward here. All right. There was a disk error. Wonderful. I'll try retrying it. Bad disk, apparently. I don't know why. Again, I try to weed some of this stuff out because it sucks to have to show you guys that stuff. Let's see. Black Cauldron. Let's see if it actually runs. Probably not. Because this is another one where I think it had multiple disks and it, let's see if this will run. Black Cauldron is one of the ones that was a Sierra game. So it was a point and click kind of game that actually had some text-based stuff. It was, back in the days where you could click on the screen. It was expected to have a mouse to play, and certain things were able to be done without having to type commands. But I think this was kind of the era where some things were typed, some things were not. Let's see if it's, okay, yay. So we get to here. All right, let's try it. Yeah, so this green desktop. It's not responding. Yeah, that's nice. This green desktop. This is what we dealt with. I'll play around with you here for a second. So one of the things you can do is you could set the resolution to medium resolution. See what it does. I don't know why it's loading. Oh, it's trying to load the disk. All right, fine. I don't care about the disk. I just want to go to medium res. Okay, fine. There we go. So this was medium res. So basically it was take the low res and just kind of shrink it. It was a higher resolution, but you could do lower, it had lower colors. So this is Gem TOS. Basically it's the graphic environment manager. Now, this is Rainbow TOS. Now it's interesting. It doesn't say 1.62 on it. Now, that would actually be interesting if this version of TOS doesn't, certain things might not like this version of TOS. That actually would be interesting. I do actually have the ROMs for the proper TOS. TOS is aptly named the operating system. TOS, the operating system. I love acronyms that are like, really? You named it that? Okay. Yeah. TOS was actually made by, I think it was, which one was? One of them was made by Digital Research. So, it came from Digital. I don't know if it was Gem or TOS. Basically, they didn't make their own stuff. Atari, grabbed chips and they just went, all right, we're going to put that on there. We're going to have somebody else do the software for this. We're just going to grab that. We're going to grab that. We're just going to slap it together and sell it as a product. And that's what they did. And it's kind of like, all right, well, I guess that works. I mean, it was cheap and they were successful at it, are they still around today? No, not the actual Atari company and not anything that was related to the ST stuff, but they actually sold machines, so can't complain. So Blood Money, that was another one I think that had it was a zip file. I was like, I'll have to mess with that. Some of these I have no idea what any of it is. Bubble Bobble was cool. We'll see if it runs. It's a crapshoot. So yeah, the way it worked, they had the operating system built into the computer. So the computer itself, I don't actually own one right now. It had the TOS on ROMs on the chip or chips inside the computer. So if you wanted to upgrade your operating system, you actually had to actually get new chips for it. So it's not something people did. So typically, the operating system you kept, that was for the life of the machine usually. Some people upgraded it if there was a reason to. But yeah, it involved getting new chips, which is not something that, for the faint of heart. Now the things you could do is you could upgrade the RAM and stuff. That was a little simpler. You could actually get RAM chips and actually put them in there, which was kind of cool. This is actually a pretty fun game. I used to play this a bit in the arcade. And it's actually a pretty good port of it, to be honest. The graphics look good and stuff. And the music is good. Hurry up! Come on, man. Come on up. Ah! Ouch. Get him. One thing that's cool about this game is you can also play two-player on the same screen, which is neat. I'm guessing it takes a while because it's loading the next level. I didn't get them all. Ouch. We'll definitely play a lot more of these kind of games when I get to arcade, which will probably be after I get through the computer stuff. Definitely arcade's going to be one that's going to take a while, because that's where a lot of these games came from. So I have to have to give props to certain games. Music's cool, but it gets a little irritating after a while. I'm kind of over it. kind of a neat little thing. It's like washing you down. You get the idea. Yeah, the music is irritating. It's like, that's cool for a while. Cadaver. I think, did I ever play that? I can't remember that one. Probably the last one for tonight. Another thing I don't like is I don't like crack tros, which is what these are. Personally, I like it to be as close to the original as possible. This crack tros always, it's a crack group intro, basically, when they've cracked a game and they have to show that they've done it, and it's like, oh man, I hate it. It's so tacky to me. So, and a lot of them it's like, oh, all the cussing and stuff. And it's like, ideally not great to show it. Here, do you want to restore game? Play some drive. No. Escape to start at the beginning of the game. Okay, I guess we're not playing that. I need to figure out how to do that. One of the thoughts is I want to do escape to get out of every game. And I'm thinking that maybe when I click on maybe shift escape or something, it'll actually send escape. The really cool thing about this emulator, which is called Steam, STEEM, is that you can map anything to anything. So like, I can actually map control buttons on the controller to stuff in there as well. So, for example, like if I wanted, like I did do made it so that I would, if I held down the bumper, left bumper, it would speed things up, and I was able to easily do that. So I could easily say, when you hit the escape key, actually don't hit escape. You actually want to, exit the game, but if you hold down shift escape, it'll actually send the escape. So I'm pretty sure I can set that up. And so it'll have an ability to at least play some games that say, hey, we need to, you need to hit that. I have no idea what a lot of these games are. I need to go through and dig out Elite. Let's see if I can use it. Now here's a non-game, if it works. So this was probably the most famous art program on, it's going to be in French, it looks like. This is probably the most famous art program on the ST. So, back in the day, we didn't have, this is, not really before Photoshop, but on this system, we didn't have Photoshop and stuff. So this was my Photoshop. Let's see. It has been forever. Let's see. I don't even remember how to get out. Probably escape. To switch between the different, you can do different panes. New brush. Spacebar, no. File, compression, load pick, like I said, pick, erase pick, set, right click, no right click. All right, it's probably escape or something. Oh well. And you can do animation, you can do all kinds of stuff with this, but this is like old school stuff. And it's funny is. This looks really rudimentary and stuff, but to be honest, on the Amiga, there was a program called, I think it's ASE Sprite or one of those. And it's actually one that people still use today to do sprite animation. So it's one of those things that it still has, some of these old games still have use these days because, they just did things that the newer programs don't, or just they have it a certain way to where it's like, this is so much better. That was the original Elite. I need to go through these, obviously, and find all the games that I used to love playing and get them all set up. But I think that is all for tonight. If you haven't, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I enjoy doing these every week. I plan on doing more retro stuff as well as modern stuff. If you have anything that you want me to do in the future, specific games or specific consoles or computers, definitely leave a comment below. I would, really appreciate it. If you have certain things that you want me to check out, I can definitely do it. Obviously, I don't know everything about everything, but I do know quite a bit about a lot of the old computers and a lot of that kind of stuff. And, in some cases, if I don't know about it, it'd be cool for me to actually go through it and check it out for the first time. When I eventually get to the consoles, NES, Super NES, and all those, I'm actually looking forward to those because I never had those as a kid. I had them as an adult, and I'd kind of like collected them and stuff like that. But it was very different when if you don't grow up with it. And so for me, what I want to do is I'd like to take some of those and maybe go through some of the best games and, watch me flail around playing, I don't know, Super Mario or Zelda games or whatever, because I never played them before. Some of them, obviously I've played certain games like Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda and all that, but the ones that I'm more interested in are the hidden treasures, the stuff that is not something that you normally see. So again, I'm always looking for interesting, more obscure games, especially if there's something cool about them. I feel like, there's a ton of games out there that are just lame, whatever games. I'm more interested in the ones that they have some interesting story or different mechanics. When I'm playing a lot of these games, I'm always looking at the mechanics and seeing how they implemented certain things. And it's always interesting to me to see when there's something that somebody has implemented and it's like, wow, that's really cool. You don't see that these days. And I always kind of make a mental note and I was like, hey, it'd be kind of interesting to use that mechanic in a modern game. Occasionally I do develop games as well. I have thought about doing some game development, streams on here or streams or just videos. If you'd like to see some of that stuff, be sure to leave a comment about it. Anything gaming related, obviously, if you'd like to see me do something, I can definitely do it. But anyway, thank you for being with me tonight. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next adventure. Take care.